It's 8:42. We have our coffee break in the morning at 7:20. We talk coffee with Colby Williams at 8:15, and we're back to coffee with Dr. Eldred Taylor. He's a doctor and an author of Are Your Hormones Making You Sick and the Stress Connection. But we're going to talk truths and myths about coffee this morning. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah, great. So glad to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, let's do this thing. So, coffee. In the 1950s, they said it was going to kill us. We were going to have heart disease, cancer, every other stinking thing. And you were supposed to not drink coffee, but turns out that's not quite so true, huh?
Yeah, those studies back in the 1950s, they didn't take into account that some of those people smoked, they drank, they didn't exercise, they were overweight, so they didn't allow for any of those confounding factors. Thank goodness the New England Journal of Medicine and the Mayo Clinic about 25 years later said, hey, if you take all those confounding factors out, coffee may actually have health benefits.
I mean, Doc, if you look at any one of those other things, it'll kill you.
Yeah, I know. So, it just goes to show you can make a study say whatever you want it to say. It's according to how meticulous you are about taking out, the other factors.
All right. So, we keep talking about what's going to kill us and what's going to save us, and it seems like every 10 years that changes. So how do we even know what to believe, Doc?
Yeah, it is tough. I would tell you that I don't trust a lot of new things. Coffee has been around for thousands of years. It's been one of the most consumed beverages all over the world. And when something is around for that long, you say there must be something good about it. But, the thing is that you have to, with anything natural, you have to not process it. You have to usually take it as organically as possible. So a lot of the problems with coffee comes from the processing, comes from the way it's farmed with pesticides. It comes from over roasting it, which causes it to be acidic and it can disrupt the stomach. So coffee in its purest form has several health benefits. But the problem is when you mass produce it, like with almost anything that's mass produced, the production process actually takes away some of the health benefits, and it also adds some of the detrimental effects of coffee.
All right. So if people drink a cup a day, it's not going to hurt them?
No. If you drink, to be honest with you, to get the antioxidant benefits, to get some of the other health benefits, it's actually recommended. The studies say you should drink 3 cups of coffee a day, but it needs to be organic, non-processed coffee. But actually, you need to drink more than 1 cup if you're looking for the health benefits. If you're just looking for a pick-me-up and a get-up-and-go, that's fine. But if you're looking at actually taking advantage of the health benefits, you actually, believe it or not, need to drink more. Most of the studies say you need to at least drink 3 cups of coffee a day to get the actual health benefits from it.
Where do you get organic coffee that isn't processed? Because, that's not going to work in my Keurig.
Yeah, well, you know what? You'd be surprised now. You can't get now. Only about 3% of the coffee that is available is actually organic. So you have to be, you have to look for it. Now, the one company that I use, and I actually met this guy. He's a patient of mine, but it's a company called Purity Coffee. If you go to their website, you'll really get an education about coffee and how it should be processed, and how all the health benefits from it. So it's puritycoffee.com. It's an excellent coffee. I tell you, when you drink pure, organic, good coffee, you'll really realize the difference between what you may get at some of the, at the gas stations or whatever that you might, where you might stop in the morning. But it's a noticeable difference, and it's a noticeable difference in how you feel. Because a lot of times people who react to coffee, it's not the coffee, it's from the acidity, it's from the mold or what we call mycotoxins, because the coffee has been processed or been stored in a place where there's a lot of moisture and mold can grow in the coffee, and when it's heated, it can actually have some toxic, cause toxic reaction.
Oh, boy. So, I mean, coffee's good for you if you're drinking good coffee, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. All right.
Drinking coffee is good for you.
How do we find good coffee? I mean, it doesn't just taste good. It has to be good for me. It does. Okay. So here's the thing, Doc. Tell me the truth. Most things that are good for me taste like crap. So.
Well, this is what I would tell you. If you I'm just telling you the truth of what I've found. The Purity coffee that I'm telling you about, if you begin to drink it, you will become a coffee snob. I just went to, I had breakfast this morning. I didn't drink coffee at this bagel place because now coffee tastes very acidic to me because I'm drinking a non-acidic coffee. So this is something, again, the old adage is if it tastes good, you should spit it out. But is not true with this. This actually tastes good, and it's actually good for you. So it goes against the norm.
Yeah. I'm not a huge coffee fan, but I drink it because I do like it with cream and sugar. Actually, you know what? I like cream and sugar, Doc. I just like to add a little coffee to it.
Yeah, you like coffee with your cream and sugar.
Yeah, exactly. But we went to a Dallas game once, and we stayed at the airport in DFW. And I got to tell you, they had a pressed French roast coffee. I could have drank that stuff all day. It was like pure heaven.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They probably, and the key is, coffee has more antioxidants than blueberries. It has about 5 times the antioxidants. But in order to get that antioxidant benefit, you have to grind the coffee 15 to 20 minutes before you're actually going to brew it. Okay. And the French press is the best way to actually prepare the coffee. And so it was probably just ground. They put it in the French press, and more than likely it was organic. Some high-end coffee. Yeah. And it tastes, it has a world of difference. Oh. A lot of the coffee that you're drinking that's mass-produced, the problem is it's over-roasted. I would tell you never get dark roast coffee because that roasting really burns away all the antioxidants, and it also causes a toxin called PAH, is polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons. When you overheat the coffee during roasting, then that is actually a carcinogen. So, good coffee is good for you. Bad coffee is not good for you.
So there's some truth about the myths, and there's some myths about the truth when we're talking coffee here.
Right.
I'm very confused.
So, all coffee is not the same. So, the puritycoffee.com, I would tell you to go there. You can get a real education. And there's people from Harvard, from all these prestigious schools talking about the health benefits. Probably the biggest health benefit is the prevention of diabetes. There are over 1,000 studies talking that reference coffee and its prevention of type 2 diabetes. And there's other health benefits. But you can learn a lot by going to that website to educate yourself, to help you to kind of know what to look for, even if you're not going to use that coffee. And for the radio listeners, to try it, you can get 30% off the coffee if you use a code Dr. Taylor. And they want you to try it, and you'll see that it's a big difference in it. And again, you can kind of get a coffee education at the same time.
I want people to try it because, how do you do a study, doctor, to find out if there are health benefits when 98% of us can't afford that high-grade coffee?
Yeah, for studies, they provide the coffee. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not done with Purity coffee. It's done with, organic beans and finding out how when you need to roast it, what temperatures you need to roast it. There's all kinds of information out there. Now, I'll tell you, this coffee, it's really about $13 a pound, but I'll tell you, I would encourage people to try it. They give that 30% off because they want you to try it, and the amount of people who continue to buy it is really, really phenomenal. Again, it's just like when you had that coffee at DFW. If you were able to, you'd buy it over and over again because it tasted so different. Mm-hmm. That's how a good coffee, that's how a good coffee tastes. and you become a coffee snob. You can't drink it. I don't drink coffee out at restaurants anymore because it just doesn't taste the same.
Yeah, I'm broke. I'm not a snob about anything. I'm just happy to have something. I am. Just bring me something.
Okay.
I'll take it. It's a funny story, Dr. Taylor, because I don't like dark roast coffees. I do think they're bitter. And I was I was at Walmart the other day because, I'm a person of Walmart. But they didn't have my regular coffee, so they had a generic blonde coffee, and I have blonde hair. So I turned to the guy beside me and I go, I have to drink this because I'm blonde. And he just stood there and looked at me for like 5 minutes before he shook his head and walked away. I thought I was hilarious. He thought I was really blonde. So is that blonde coffee better for me than the dark roast?
Yeah, well, it's better than dark roast, but the best is if you have a medium roast.
Okay.
It's like anything else. You don't want too much and you don't want too little. Because you do actually need to heat the coffee beans to actually kind of activate some of the chemicals in it, but you don't want them burnt. Again, it's like anything else. You don't want raw coffee beans, but blonde would be better than dark roast.
Okay.
But the medium roast is really where you get the most health benefits.
All right. And do you study? How do you know so much about coffee? That's what I want to know.
I'll tell you, since I became a coffee snob, I started to learn about it. It was kind of a guilty pleasure for a long time because I was believing the myths too, but I like to have, it was religious. I wake up and I have my cup of coffee in the morning. And so when I started to learn there's some real health benefits, I started to educate myself. And I started looking at the studies and whatever. And I'm like, oh, wow. I need to start recommending that if you're going to drink coffee, instead of hiding it when you go to the doctor and say, "Oh yeah, I drink a half a cup. I'm trying to get off caffeine." Just say, "Hey, look, if you're going to drink coffee, you need to drink a good coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Have it where you don't have to be ashamed of drinking the coffee that is actually, something that is, can at least help you to maintain your health and maybe even improve your health."
Well, and your cup doesn't need to be as big as the Salvation Army Red Kettle either if you're drinking good coffee, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I hear you say coffee snob, and I keep thinking of the Bud Light commercials where they're like, dilly dilly, with the guy who wants his mead instead of the Bud You're a dilly dilly guy, aren't you?
Yeah, but, just think about that coffee that you had at DFW, how different it tasted.
Oh, so
and
good.
You said you could drink it forever because a lot of people, again, that acidity and that burnt flavor from that dark roast, that's the part that people who don't like coffee who just drink it because they need to pick me up but don't really like the taste. It's really because it's over roasted and it's burnt or, there's too much acidity in it or whatever. But good coffee is very pleasing to the palate.
Yeah. So you got to look at how it's grown, how it's roasted, how it's packaged, even how it's shipped, really, if you're going to get a good coffee.
Yeah, because it needs to be shipped where it's not exposed to air at all. You don't need to have it pre-ground. You need to buy yourself a coffee grinder. You can get that for $14 or $15 off of Amazon. I've had one for probably 10 years. I mean, they don't break. They don't, so it's worth the investment if you're really, if you're addicted to coffee and your doctor keeps telling you it's going to kill you, say, hey, I got a healthy coffee and I'm going to keep drinking it.
Yeah, and it'll help you lose weight too. I mean, if that's your goal,
right.
You can find that.
Yeah, and that's been proven through studies also. It increases your metabolic rate. It increases your exercise intensity. It's actually been shown to help decrease the risk of breast cancer, Parkinson's disease, a whole host of diseases that have been shown to you have a reduced risk if you drink good coffee and actually have to drink enough of it. Again, they really recommend 2 to 3 cups a day in order for the disease prevention. So, and that's what the studies say. I'm not, I'm not invested in the company or anything, but that's what the studies show.
Okay, I have 30 seconds left, Dr. Eldred, but I watched a My Strange Addiction the other day, and they were putting coffee in their backside and doing colonic cleanses with it. That's probably stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a little far left for me.
Yeah.
like coffee that much.
Yeah, I don't know if your butt can taste it either.
Yeah. Until it comes out the other end, I like to start from the top end and let it work its way through.
Put your coffee in the right end, everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be my parting, my parting tip. Is put it in the right end.
All right. So what was that website again, Doc, before I let you go?
Yeah, it's puritycoffee.com, and use the coupon code Dr. Taylor with no spaces, no periods, and they'll give you 30% off of your first order.
All right, Dr. Eldred Taylor. He's also an author. The books are Your Hormones Making You Sick and The Stress Connection. You can check it out. It's the truth and it's the myths about coffee. Thanks for making time, Doc.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.